Hello, and welcome to another episode of Chuchu is a Ranker. And yeah, it's that time of year again when we reflect on the music released over the last 12 months. And 2025 was pretty good. 2024 was easily the best year for new music of the 2020s thus far. And 2025 continues on that trend with plenty of really good records to get your teeth into. So without further ado, let's be complete rankers and rank up a storm. These are my personal top 10 albums of 2025. So we're going to be kicking off this list with It's a Beautiful Place by Water From Your Eyes, which is the American indie rock band's 7th LP. And here the experimentally inclined duo of Rachel Brown and Nate Amos continue ploughing the same bedroom recording furrow as before, turning in a sprightly 30-minute set of songs that flip between fractured art rock, heavy set guitar raw and beat-forward hip-hop and electronica. It's a mix of elements that suits the decidedly hipsterish and aloof group, which often sees vocalist Rachel Brown singing in a really detached kind of way that makes us sound totally bored with everything. As I said, decidedly hipsterish. But it's also quite amusing, and the songs are full of energy and are often quite surprising with their rather odd melodic twists. Highlights on a short but entertaining ride includes Life Signs, which gets the record off to a fun start with its jagged guitars and half-asleep hip-hop drawl. Knights in Armour is pretty cool with its weird guitar dynamics and flighty dream pop vocals. Born 2 is rad with its heaving metal brawn and rhythmic pulse. The tune slaps in a darkly throbbing kind of way. Playing Classics is all blocky electronica, Asian sounding riffage and acid house beats, while Blood on the Dollar calms things down for a lovely slice of country tinged balladry. So yeah, Water From Your Eyes continue to be a band worth keeping half an eye on. I feel at some point they're going to make something truly magnificent. This particular record isn't 100% there yet, but it does feel like another confident step towards the big time. Next up we have Pink Elephant by Arcade Fire, which is the American art rock band's 7th LP. And this record came at a time of notable stress for the band, with frontman Win Butler being caught up in some sexual misconduct allegations that damaged the band's reputation and turned large parts of the media against him. This in turn hurt both the album's critical and commercial performance, with the record failing to make the Billboard 200 in its home country. I'll skip offering my personal opinion on the allegations and just stick to the content of the music here, which I think is pretty damn good. In fact, for me, Pink Elephant represents a big bounce back in quality for the group, being easily their best album since 2013's Reflector. The album has a creaking, cathartic kind of melancholy to it that I find quite alluring. There's a lot of effort put into the atmospherics here, with the record featuring a bunch of instrumental interludes that tie the core songs together very nicely. This of course makes the whole package feel very cohesive and just gives the album a more definitive identity. Highlights from an unjustly dismissed LP includes the title track Pink Elephant, which is lovely with its subtly sad indie rock movements. The rhythmically straitjacketed Year of the Snake has a swirling kind of vibe to its clipped art pop. Tracks like Circle of Trust and Alien Nation carry on the legacy of Reflector with their smooth synth and electronica additions. Ride or Die strips things back to the bare minimum for a folk-tinged tune that has a good streak of catchiness threaded through it, while Closer, Stuck in My Head slowly builds up to a hammering finale, which is pretty cool. So yeah, in my opinion, this is a great Arcade Fire album. I guess people ultimately voted with their wallets, and Win Butler and his band had to absorb the repercussions of him being a horny little fuckboy who couldn't keep it in his pants. But musically, this is good stuff as far as I'm concerned. Next up we have Show Tunes by the Supernaturals, which was the Scottish Britpop also-ran 7th LP. And as this list and last year's list attests, apparently 90s Britpop is back in full swing. Well, maybe not quite full swing, as the bands don't have a chance in hell of bothering the charts these days. But all the old bands are back and trying not to throw their backs out as they gyrate upon the stage and pretend the world hasn't dramatically gone down the shitter since the Britpop ship ignominiously sank. And here the Supernaturals are coming at you like 1997 never died, peddling a ridiculously catchy album of upbeat sounding tunes married to conspicuously miserable lyrics. It's a mix that took the band to great heights with their debut LP It Doesn't Matter Anymore and lets them flirt with greatness again on this one. My cherry picks from a bouncing banger of a record includes the opening, Don't Let the Past Catch Up With You, which is rad with its awesome guitar riff and melancholy undercurrent. Talking of melancholy, tunes like She's the Reason and Spirit turn on the grandstanding balladry to great effect. The Supernaturals always were really great at that kind of thing. Turn It Around Again is a glorious slice of sugary pop rock. If You Can't Love Yourself is a swaggeringly catchy tune that's probably not about masturbation, but yeah, you never really know, do you? While Burn the Witch has a stuttering kind of jagged cool that updates the Britpop formula well. So yeah, I could reel off more highlights such as the anthemic Killed by Submarines, but I'll put a cork in it right there. Basically, if you're hankering for a bit of late 90s Britpop, you simply can't go wrong with this record. It's nothing but a good time, just try not to put your back out while jumping around to it. Coming in next we have Tower Block in a Jam Jar by Mozart Estate, which is Lawrence's 6th LP under the Mozart moniker and his 18th overall. And on this, Lawrence takes a bunch of tunes from his go-kart Mozart days and re-records them with more fleshed out arrangements and superior production. To that end, there's nothing really new here for dedicated Lawrence fans, as all of these tunes will be familiar. But it matters not a jot, because what Lawrence has managed to put together here is absolutely joyous. The 12 songs on offer here are all of the sleep-deprivingly catchy variety. Lawrence has basically pared down his Mozart discography into a flawless and expertly recorded set of songs that put the catchy hammer down and don't let up until the run-out groove arrives. In fact, I'd go as far as to say that this is the most immediately accessible and consistent record that Lawrence has ever put out. It's all killer, no filler. Yes, of course, it's kind of a cheat because it's basically a best-of with flashier production, but if you are new to Lawrence, then this is now the gold standard. This is where you should go to start your journey with him. As for highlights, that would be everything. There's not a weak second on the entire package. I mean, that's kind of the point of it. Still, there are some specific tunes that are noticeably better than the original versions. Selfish, Lazy and Greedy has a much richer arrangement while still maintaining the older tracks' impossibly catchy charm. The psychedelic Fuzzy Duck gets a hilarious upgrade via some epic voice pads that juxtapose the tune's daft lyrics about getting totally stoned off your tits. There's an absolutely thumping version of Listen to Marmalade that dials up the glammy guitar swagger to impressive effect, while closer City Centre is also really rocking and much improved over the original, which I always thought was a bit of an invisible track. So yeah, add into that the always dependable sing-along likes of Donna and the Dope Fiends, Summer is Here, and On a Building Site, We're on a Building Site, right! And you have a breezy 34-minute twee indie pop ride that's guaranteed to slap a huge smile all across your beleaguered mug. All hail to Lawrence.
Fair weather friend.
Next up we have More by Pulp, which was the Britpop Icon's 8th LP and first for 24 years. Oh, Christ, I'm getting old. And here Pulp come back admirably swinging for the fences with an excellent effort that gifted the band their first #1 album since This Is Hardcore back in 1998. A big part of what makes this record hit the sweet spot is its production. As much as I've always appreciated Pulp, the band have never been too good at making their records sound good on a technical level. I mean, most Pulp albums sound like they were recorded on machinery powered by a spinning Jenny. Mercifully, most of them got bailed out by Jarvis Cocker's superb lyricism and good quality songwriting, but the production values were often a bit lacking. This one has modern technology doing the heavy lifting, and it leads to a record that's lush, rich and warm and full of atmospheric detailing. From a production standpoint, this is the best Pulp have ever sounded. The songs and of course Cocker's lyricism are also on point, slotting this LP only behind the truly masterful Different Class on a Pulp ranking scale, at least in my opinion. Highlights on a consistent ride includes the opening Spike Island, which has a shimmering Britpop swoon that sees Jarvis croon, "I was born to perform. It's a calling. I exist to do this," pointing and shouting. Grown Ups has a nice stutter pop bounce to it as well as a slightly funny lyrical pulse. The likes of My Sex and Got to Have Love bring a bit of indie disco to the table and are instantly enjoyable and nostalgic. The Hymn of the North is a beautiful ballad that pays homage to Pulp's hometown Sheffield, while closer A Sunset is arguably my favourite song of the year with its wonderful string-kissed balladry and phenomenal lyrics. As Jarvis sighs, "So now I'm learning about money, and I'm learning about law. The first rule of economics? Unhappy people, they spend more." Mwah, chef's kiss, I just love that song. So yeah, Pulp have come back here waving the goods around like a flasher in a play park sporting a hard-on. It's excellent stuff, and I hope we get more from Pulp going forward. Next up we have Ad Astra by Ash, which was the Irish Britpop Survivors' 9th LP. And yeah, as I already mentioned, we're all aboard the Britpop train once again. Not that I'm complaining, I mean I'll take these old Britpop codgers over most modern crap any day of the week. And apparently, Ash have been having quite a renaissance over the last decade. Not that I had any idea about it, I mean the last time I checked in with the band was 3 All Angels from all the way back in 2001. But here the band are, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, offering up an album that has lost none of the group's trademark youthful energy. The album's title, artwork and opening tune, which rocks up the old 2001 Space Odyssey theme, indicates a spacey sci-fi theme. But that's actually a little bit of smoke and mirrors, as aside from maybe the closing track Ad Astra, which really rocks by the way, the sci-fi motif is largely ignored, which is a shame as I would have loved for Ash to have gone all in with that. Oh well, at least as long as it wasn't as confusing as that bloody Brad Pitt film with the same name. What the fuck was that film about? Actually, that movie does have a cult following, so maybe I should give it another chance. Anyway, what you do end up getting here is a very enjoyable, rough and tumble Britpop record that's instantly nostalgic and impressively consistent. High spots on an album that takes you through a wormhole back to the late 90s and early 2000s includes Which One Do You Want?, which surprisingly does the whole Smith thing with its Johnny Marr jangle and Morrissey-esque vocal inflections. It's surprising because I never really associated Ash with that scene, but here they're paying rather obvious homage to it. Fun People is one of a few tracks to feature Graham Coxon, which makes sense as it sounds exactly like Blur in goofy rockout mode. Give Me Back My World delivers those old school Britpop goods with its crashing rock balladry. Hallion's catchy pogo punk teleports you back to the days of Girl From Mars and Goldfinger, while Deadly Love is rad, soaking itself in synths and echoey guitar for a great downbeat dirge that houses a giant chorus. So yeah, throw in the fantastic bouncy cover of Harry Belafonte's Jump in the Line and the anthemic crunch of Dehumanized, which just totally kicks ass, and you have a record that is tons and tons of Britpoppy fun. Next up we have Iconoclasts by Anna von Hausswolff, which was the Swedish art pop and post-rock artist's 6th LP. So Anna is pretty new to me and this is the first album of hers that I've heard. But boy, what a way to enter her world, because Iconoclasts is obviously an extremely good record that has ambition and artistic creativity bursting out from every scene. For those of you like me who are out there asking the question, what's a von Hausswolff? Imagine Kate Bush's Ninth Wave suite from Hounds of Love smashed up together with Spirit of Eden by Talk Talk, and you have kind of your answer, albeit more synth heavy than either of those comparisons allows. In fact, you may as well just throw some Vangelis into that musical math too. It's a brew that works incredibly well, so well in fact that when this record is at its peak, it's a good way beyond anything else this year. There are swells of real perfection to be found here. But there is a small spanner in the works that dashes Iconoclast's hopes of bagging an Album of the Year award from the Chuchu, and that spanner is a serious case of overlength. Iconoclasts is 1 hour and 12 minutes long, which is just too long. I mean, when in the hell do you ever really get the time to sit down and listen to an album that long? Once in a blue moon maybe? There are also a couple of tunes such as The Mouth and An Ocean of Time that meander around their atmospherics without ever really arriving at a point. I know that's part of the post-rock course, but some of the extraneous stuff definitely could have and should have been cut for time. I mean, hey, Hounds of Love and Spirit of Eden both wrapped up in under 50 minutes without any loss of artistic integrity. And a von Hausswolff, take some fucking notes! Anyway, I'm getting my panties in a bit of a twist here, so let's get back to what makes this album awesome. Basically, the entire record kind of feels like sinking into the world of Blade Runner 2049. Those scenes with the flying cars over the endless cityscapes, the record feels exactly like that. And as for highlights, well, it's really not that kind of record, it's more of an atmospheric mood piece. Still, Facing Atlas is great with its gradual build up into an epic ballad. The Iconoclast is Blade Runner central, with this 11-minute synth monster taking all kinds of experimental twists and turns. While the whole woman is gorgeous with its creaking sadness and emotive vocal work from von Hausswolff and a gravelly voiced guesting Iggy Pop. So yeah, throw in the beautiful balladry of the finale, Unconditional Love, the buzzing synth bass of Stardust, and a whole bunch of other atmospherically salient material, and you have a fantastic piece of art that excels at creating a sonic world for you to sink into. Just, you know, von Hausswolff, just make it a bit shorter next time, for the love of Pete. Next up we have Rainy Sunday Afternoon by The Divine Comedy, which was the Neil Hannon fronted troupe's 13th LP. And here Neil pulls a 180 from his last record, 2019's Office Politics. That album was a totally bonkers, purposely cheesy and kitsch effort that had a real Kingsian feel to it. Rainy Sunday Afternoon is a much more sombre affair, with exactly zero cheese to be found. In fact, the record is deeply elegant and profoundly moving, with Neil's mature and personal lyrics grabbing you by the ears and refusing to let go. On an emotional level, I think Rainy Sunday Afternoon might actually be Neil Hannon's masterwork. I find the record to be incredibly emotive. Musically, things are pared down to the basic. It's all acoustic clean guitars and classical piano lines, but it totally matches the content and always lets the wonderful lyrics breathe. As for highlights, that would be everything. I mean, there is not a weak track on the entire package. Still, The Last Time I Saw the Old Man has an appropriate mournfulness to it, as Neil heartbreakingly describes his father's final descent into Alzheimer's. I Want You is an epic ballad with a velveteen romanticism to it. I love the fluttering piano on the track. All the Pretty Lights is gorgeous with its twinkling tales of getting all excited for Christmas time. Mar-a-Lago by the Sea has a bossa nova staggering drunk feel to its cocktails by the poolside balladry. The Heart is a Lonely Hunter has an addictive sadness to its swirling dour dirge, while closer Invisible Thread is phenomenal. Its lyrics about always being connected to your children, no matter how old they are or how far away they go, are just stunningly beautiful. Like, I feel like I'm going to cry every time I listen to that song. But yeah, you can't go wrong with anything on the record, from the more playful likes of The Man Who Turned Into a Chair and Down the Rabbit Hole, to the simple yet incredibly catchy title track, Rainy Sunday Afternoon, to the atmospherically salient slice of maudlin piano that is Can't Let Go. It's all just really fantastic stuff. Neil Hannon has done it again, just smashed another home run of a record. Wonderful stuff. Next up we have Antidepressants by Suede, which was the Britpop stalwart's 10th LP and second in the planned trilogy of quote-unquote black and white records. And here Suede retained the growling heaviness of their previous album Autofiction, but also improve upon it in every way, while also going further down the maudlin post-punk rabbit hole. To that end, Antidepressants is arguably the darkest sounding Suede record to date, with the band really connecting with their inner Joy Division. It's a bleak and bleakly beautiful set of songs that deal with the themes of existential dread, depression, disconnecting with society and suicide, but it's all shot through with a sense of thumping energy and a whole bunch of skyscraping choruses. Consistency is also on the record side, with no weak material in sight. In fact, I personally would say that Antidepressants represents Suede's best album since coming up from all the way back in 1996. And that's not to throw shade at albums like Night Thoughts or The Blue Hour or whatever, those were also fine records, but here's Suede are properly back at peak form. Highlights on a dark yet satisfying journey includes the opening trilogy of catchy bangers, Disintegrate, Dancing with the Europeans and the title track Antidepressants. Each tune slaps with a dark building kind of energy. Disintegrate sees Brett Anderson inviting you to, disintegrate with him, while Antidepressants pulls an amusingly subversive trick of making you sing along with a tune that's ostensibly about getting off your tits on pharmaceuticals. The Sound in the Summer sees the band sounding quite a bit like Interpol, with Brett amusingly snarling, "We've got the sound in the summer, the motorway, so don't fuck with me. You've never been loved until you've been loved in a crash." Trance State has a chorus that rises out of its hazy tunage to blossom into a catchy flower, while June Rain has a desperate kind of sadness to its suicide-inflected balladry, as Brett alludes to his end while conceding, "I'll love you till July." So yeah, throw in the catchy stomp of broken music for broken people and criminal ways, and the lovely swirling balladry of Somewhere Between an Atom and a Star, and you have an exceptional album that sees a great band just peacocking around at full power. So here we are at the top of the mountain, and the 2025 gold medal is going to go to Never Enough by Turnstile, which was the American post-hardcore band's 4th LP. And here the group are following up 2021's rather masterful Glow On, which helped the band break out of the underground with its excellent barrage of jumbled and energetic heavy rock. Perhaps controversially, the band are toning down the heaviness here, which of course set off a whole bunch of whinging from the post-hardcore scene. Apparently if it doesn't make your ears bleed via its heaviness, then it's to the birds. But I like the cleaner, more measured sound that the band have come up with here, with a lot of the alt-rock influences being retained from their previous record too. Turnstile have also turned their attention to the notion of atmospheric texturing. This is one of those records that basically never stops, with all the songs being linked by instrumental interludes. This gives the record a really distinct flavour and also lets you take a relaxed breath between the blasts of searing guitar work. The best examples of the connecting tissue would be on the cool ethnic riffage of Sun Shower and the trancey electronica outro on Look Out For Me. Those detours really do add a great amount of relaxing atmosphere. Elsewhere you've got some just killer tunage to dig into. The guitar liftoff that comes in on the opening title track, never enough, it's just rad, blasting the tune off into the stratosphere. I Care has a shimmering 1980s style jangle pop bend to it that pulls delightful images of R.E.M. and The Cure out of the ether. Speaking about that kind of stuff, the Johnny Marr style guitar jangle and funky bassline of Seeing Stars is awesome, plus the liftoff when the track kicks in is just so good. Light Design has a slow burn kind of catchiness to it that buries into your brain and slowly takes over your motor functions, leading you to do all kinds of devious things. At least that's what I'm going to tell the Rozzers when they inevitably turn up on my doorstep. While Time Is Happening is a fantastic ballad with a very strong melody line that recalls Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. That track desperately leaves you wanting more. I would have gladly taken a full 5 minutes of that. But yeah, everything hits its mark, from the gonzo moshes of Soul, Doll and Birds, to the grinding lonely riffage of Slow Dive, to the oddly mesmeric organ and vocals only closer, Magic Man. It's all really good and very cohesive stuff. Ultimately, despite its clattering post-hardcore tag, this is an album that leaves you with this overriding sense of resigned sadness and languorous relaxed atmospherics. I think it's excellent stuff and easily the album that I have played the most and loved the most from 2025. And that's my list, but of course I know that won't be your list, so why not sound off in the comments and tell me your own top 10 of 2025. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and all that other kind of YouTube jazz. Feel free to check out the Music of 2025 Spotify playlist I personally created, link in the description below. Make sure to take care of yourself, have a happy new year, but most importantly, just keep on ranking.